we've got Thomas calling in from Arizona or from Aardvark Zoo. An Aardvark Zoo. A zoo where they only have aardvarks. What a magical place. Thomas is having some trouble deconstructing and leaving religion. And I think this would be a great call for you specifically, Paul. Thomas, you are on the line. How are you doing today?
Oh my God. I feel like I just got picked on the Price is Right. Why? What's up?
Come on down.
So yeah, I've been like binge watching these AP channels for like the past month. It's kind of like something I've been like feeling just kind of throughout
Mhm.
life. But you know how you like feel some kind of way about a situation and there's really nobody around you to like validate those feelings. And then somebody
Very
finally does,
much.
and it's like, oh shit, I've been thinking that the whole time, but like I just could never put words to it. And yeah, but at the same time, like, of course, like, I just heard so many different arguments from you guys, and it makes so much sense. And it's like, well, like, this is the way, right? But at the same
Mhm.
time, I'm like having trouble kind of just backing away from like my religious upbringing. Like, I was a church kid, and my grandparents raised me, and we owned a church. And so, yeah, like, we were literally like the family of the church. Bible study Wednesdays, church school Sunday, just the whole went
Mhm.
around, so 100% indoctrinated. But then, of course,
Mhm.
like, ended up being gay, so it was a nightmare, right? Because like, just growing up in that was terrible, but at the same time, it's like, I can't let the whole situation go. It's like, I can't put words to my hesitancy to completely drop my religion, although, like, I don't even practice, haven't been to church in a while. It's like, I heard one of, like, my favorite artists, her name is Sheila. He, had an album, and there was a line in there, and I think it sums up my feelings exactly. Her mother was like, if this whole she was talking about something else, but we were just apart to religion. She was just saying, if it's an illusion, then, don't wake me up because the alternative is a hole of like darkness and nothingness, right? And I think that's what I feel about the whole like dropping religious belief. And then like, I don't know if that's just like a fear of death in general or just like feeling like I'm just, I don't know. Are you guys getting like, I can't really put it to words.
So, Thomas,
This is very
Thomas,
common.
do you still do you believe in God presently?
That's a great question. Like, do I? Because like, not really. Like, I haven't heard from the guy. So I don't
Right.
really,
So eventually
I
you're
don't,
gonna. I myself have been through exactly what you've been through, and one day will just happen where you will realize, and maybe it won't. Maybe you will continue to believe in God for the rest of your life, but one day you will find that point where it's oh, I guess I don't believe, and then the question becomes, are all the reasons you're holding on, or all the things you're holding on to, if they are not true because you don't believe that they're true, are they worth still doing? And that's going to be an individual decision for you to make. But if you continue to label yourself as a Christian, it won't be because you believe in God anymore. It'll be because and I really hate this phrase, but you're acting culturally Christian, right? You'll be playing a role for your family or for your friends or even for yourself, but you will be
Mm.
then using Christianity for pragmatic purpose and not because it is what you hold to be true. And it sounds like maybe that's what's happening to you right now, that you find you're is alleviating some fear of death, or it is smoothing over some relationships or something like that. Am I characterizing what you're saying correctly?
So I'm sorry to say we actually lost Thomas. His
Oh
call dropped. I don't know
no.
if he hung up. Yeah, I don't know if he hung up
All
or if
right. I'm sorry,
the call
Thomas.
just dropped or what happened. But like, I really would value hearing more about what you have to say about this, since this is something you've been through, and that's like
Mm.
what I would love to get out of the show. So like, assuming that's the case, like, what tips or tricks would you give to Tom? Like, what would be your guide for him there?
Well, one of the things I don't recommend is I immediately got cancer immediately afterwards. So the fear of
That
death,
sounds like no fun.
I would literally have was like diagnosed with like, oh, you're going to die very soon. And so then so my fear of death is gone, right? Because now I've just dealt with that. So fear of death, fear of hell, figuring out which relationships in your life are real and which ones were products merely of just circumstance and or, so being part of the same club. Those are all real things you need to come to grips with. The fear of hell, that's a huge one. And the only thing that goes away is just time. Because you're so indoctrinated. You just have to remind yourself every day when that happens, okay, but that's not a place that I think exists. It helps people to think about, well, I'm not worried about the Norse hell or the Greek hell or the like all the other flavors or the Hindu hell, like all the various flavors of hell that you're not worried about. You can eventually let go and stop worrying about the Christian hell in the same way. So those are some of the tips. So relationship wise, boy, you sure need to figure out um, what your new boundaries are for people who, if they want to proselytize back. Also realizing that if a relationship is really important, a difference in opinion about God isn't that important. Those are all factors into it. And there's so many flavors and so many people that we've done. But yeah.
I think that's really really good advice, and like I didn't have that kind of like hard deconstruction myself, but like because I didn't really have that kind of fear of hell, but like I could say as an outsider looking in, I think what's really important for Thomas to understand is like that's so unbelievably common what he's talking about. Like
Hmm.
I can speak for myself and saying like that that kind of thing, that fear tactic, there's a reason why it's so prevalent. There's a reason why it's used. You're experiencing it right now. It's very fucking useful at keeping people in the club and keeping people donating and keeping people under control. Religion is at its core a domestication tool for humans. And what you're experiencing right now, Thomas, is the like after effects of what is really essentially psychological and emotional abuse. What you talked about, you realized at a certain point that you were gay and that you grew up in this homophobic religion, and that kind of first of all, congratulations on learning something about yourself and having the courage to
Hmm.
accept talk about it. That's fucking awesome. But like you can now see for yourself, like you were taught from these people, this is something I don't understand. This is something different. Therefore, it must be evil. And here you are as that different thing. And you're a good person. And so like either either you don't know yourself as well as, thousands of years of fucking virgin priests know you, or actually just a bunch of fucking dickheads got some stuff wrong about the cosmos. And an Iron Age sex manual isn't the best way to base your life off of. The best thing to base your morality off of and your life principles off of. And so, like, you're exploring and evolving. And if you're having problems leaving that behind, just, ask yourself if this God is real, then, I think what you said, Paul, was really good. Are you afraid of all these
Hmm.
other hells? But also, like, your God gave you a brain. Is he going to be mad at you for using it? And if this God is really the kind of person to send you to hell for just the sin of not being sure that it exists, then your God's an asshole. And frankly, you deserve better than that. You deserve to be free of it. I wouldn't worship, like we said to Mr. British, I wouldn't worship that guy if he existed, if I was certain it existed. I mean, it's like having kids and then beating them because they don't adulate to you enough and like
Hmm.
worship you enough. You're an asshole. You're a shitty parent. Like this God has galaxy upon galaxy to be concerned with, a massive universe full of hundreds of billions of galaxies with hundreds of billions of stars. But there's this one tiny rock with one particular species of primate, and he needs to make sure that they're not masturbating. And like that, come on. Like, I'm sorry. It's not serious. So I wish you all the
Um,
best, Thomas. I think you're on the right
and just
path.
the one
Sorry, go ahead.
one note on top of that, for me, the biggest issue once I dealt with my health stuff was literally that every human that was important to me in the whole world was a Christian. I didn't have a single important person in my life who wasn't. Work, socially, you name it, right? So recovering from religion was really important for me. I ended up finding a recovering from religion group. I didn't get a chance to finish this story yesterday. Thanks, Jimmy. But no, so go to recovering from if you are in that same boat where you're looking where what the only thing that's keeping you there is the community aspect. It's time to find a new community that you are choosing of your own, and one possible way to do that is recovering from religion. So thank you to that.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Um, okay, so We're gonna move on there because that's I'm so glad we got to cover that because that's really is like that's my favorite part of this channel is like I get so many emails and shit from people who are like, hey, I'm struggling to leave religion, and this conversation about that exact thing is so important. I love that.